Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do my full review on the Jack Wolf Knives low drag jack. And yeah, so Ben came out with another knife. First one of 23, and I gotta say, it's one of my favorites. Am I gonna say it's the best one yet, like I've been doing? I don't think I like this one better than the Venom, but man, it's up there. It might be in my top 3 at this point. I think actually it is. I think it would be Venom, Midnight, and then Low Drag. And it's just, man, it's so good. And you guys, if you saw the unboxing, I did have one thing that I was nitpicking a bit, which was the walk and talk. Just being a little bit tighter or stiffer than I'm used to on them. But as you can see, it has broken in, and I have made an adjustment that I'll talk about. But very simple, and yeah, as I expected, it broke in, and it's fantastic. So this one is dropping on Friday the 13th of January. And Ben will be on the live stream the night before on the 12th. So you guys might see this right around that time. And it will be at 2 p.m. Eastern at all the dealers. The dealer list is in the description. You can just click on the link. It'll take you right to the list. I recommend if there's a specific one you want that you maybe reach out to a dealer and, just ask them about it. See what happens. There are 4 variations of carbon fiber / fat carbon, camo carbon, sorry, that are available. So there's going to be black micarta. Then there's going to be this 80s camo carbon, also known as shagadelic. Then there's going to be a Miami Vice / pink and blue camo carbon. Then there's going to be a dark matter yellow fat carbon. And then there's going to be a Junglewear Fat Carbon. So lots of options. Did I say black micarta? There's black micarta. So lots of options available. This is the one I would totally pick up if I was buying another one. Luckily, Ben just sent me this one, so I don't have to go buying another one and figuring it out. But sometimes I do that. Like the Venom, I bought 2. But yeah, it's really good. And it's just like, I know you guys are probably getting sick of hearing, all these great things every month. And I'm guessing the people who enjoy these knives are watching these videos to reassure themselves of their purchase. Then there's people who have wanted one and they've been waiting for a specific one, and maybe this is that one you've been waiting for, and you're just trying to confirm if it's, worth picking up for you because it's, $300 in camo carbon or fat carbon. And then there's the people who just, for some reason, have an issue with the price, or it's made in China or whatever. And to those people, you're just going to have to keep on dealing because I don't know what to tell you. Like, they're just that good. They really are just that good. And he makes these little improvements along the way, like adding more fat carbon options. Just stuff like that. I think he's possibly tweaked walk and talk from the beginning to now, right? Just stuff like that's cool. It's called CQI, and he's making these on a monthly basis. So he's probably 3, 4, 5 months ahead, but he can start getting those things implemented as quickly as he possibly can, which is cool, and he's doing it. And he's a big part of the community. He's out there talking to people. He has a Facebook group that's very active. It's a fun group. So I don't know. For me, it's just easy to love what Jack Wolf is doing. And I just like Ben. He's a friend, so I guess you got to take that with a grain of salt, but, yeah. So let's talk about the actual knife, huh? Aesthetically, closed, this is one of the best looking Jack Wolf knives. Yeah, it's one of the best. It's got this just streamlined, looks like a bullet, right? That's kind of the point. It looks like a long range bullet, aka low drag. So high speed, low drag, baby. Just, yeah, man, it's just got like this aerodynamic nature to it and contoured, excuse me, on that side. It's just really, really cool looking. And then you add that 80s camo carbon. Now, they come a little dry, but you can put mineral oil on. You can put whatever on. So I did put a few coats of mineral oil on, and my slip is just like soaking that up. By the way, big shout out to Ben. He gifted me this little bro jack. And yeah, this is very cool to me. Thank you. But I've been using this slip while I wait for my Northwoods Leatherworks slip. And, yeah, it just soaks up. And you can see it's leather, right? So it's just soaking up the mineral oil, I think, every time I put it in. I did put some nano oil on it this time. I put a little nano oil 85 weight and kind of got that in there. And, you know, that seems to be sticking a little better. And it doesn't feel weird in the hand or anything. But I think it gives it that sort of wet look a little bit more than, you know, it shows up. But the slip does kind of dry it out a little bit. But it's fine. I mean, even without any of that, it looks great. I love the oranges in there. And it's just a different type of camo carbon. Not a different type, but a different look. So if you look at, like, my Evo, you can see the colors are like, whoa, like crazy, popping all over the place. But this one is contoured and it's like cut. You can see the layers. It's almost like layered. If you see that, it's almost like you have an end cut piece and then you have like a normal cut piece, if that makes sense. Like you see that end? It's kind of like what you're seeing here, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's cool for sure. So, yeah, I like it. It gives it a little more of a subtle look, which I think might be good on a slip joint like this. And then when you open the knife up, it also looks very good. It's one that initially didn't appeal to me, but having it in hand, as happens a lot, it really grew on me. I love the bullet end, and then I like how it gets like bulbous thicker out here, kind of like the tip, and then it thins out and then comes back out. It's really cool to see that. And I think the reason it threw me on pictures and stuff is because I thought it was going to be bigger. You can see here, if we compare sizes, here's the little bro, which is obviously the smallest in the line. Let me clean the blade off there a little bit. So that's the smallest one in the line, right? Let me get out. Oops. Here is the Venom Jack, which is probably one of the larger ones. God, these are all like fingerprinted up. Love that belt set. There you go. So what you end up with is something interesting, right? Like the handle is almost the same length as the Venom, but your blade is a little bit longer on the Venom. And I'm guessing that had something to do with this big bulbous area here, that this is just straight, so you can fit it into the handle easier. You know what I mean? But there's a couple of size comparisons for you. I just love all the different, you know, combinations of things here. Colors and blade shapes and just all that stuff. Look at that. Mars Valley just pop-a-lopping. This was my knife of the year for 2022, by the way. Fantastic knife. All right. So, yeah, aesthetics, really good. Ergos, fantastic. Just fits my hand really nicely. It's very neutral. You know, it starts wider here, slims in a little bit. Feels really good in the hand. This grip, if you want to go into a gas station grip, you can do that. Reverse gas station. If you want to do a draw cut, whatever you want to do, it works really well. Cutting. So I love the cutting on this. again, something I didn't expect being a bulbous sort of spear point. I just expected to have a very stubby tip that's not going to be super usable, but this thing is a package opening, cardboard cutting destroyer. I mean, it just glides under that tape or whatever it is on the box you're trying to open, right? And then you can cut the tape at the top without worrying about going too far in. And then cardboard, it's just super thin behind the edge. You got the full hollow grind. Nice, again, tall right here. So it's just stupid thin. It's like all of them, guys. Just so well done. So well done on the blade. And this one, cool thing about the cutting on this one is S90V. So you are looking at a different steel on this one. So on this knife, you have S90V, and that holds an edge a long time. There is no upcharge from the M390, same price, but you get a different steel, which is cool, because these are kind of based, these knives are for EDC. They are for edge retention, you know? So you have a steel that's pretty corrosion resistant and has really good edge retention. It's not the toughest steel, but you shouldn't be doing things that are going to put the toughness into question, really. You know what I mean? So I like that. The carry is phenomenal. You have a slim profile, right? My dog's growling. Hey, slim profile, very, again, bullet-like, and that just makes it carry really well. Whether you're just going to drop it in the pocket or put it in a slit like this, it just disappears. I have had no issue. I've carried this with other knives in my front left pocket all week. I've had a Demko in that pocket. I've had a Divo in that pocket. I've had a OTF, that big Heretic OTF I recently got. I've had that in the pocket. And it just sits at the bottom of the pocket, no problem. I've also carried it in my back left pocket, just kind of horizontal carry back there, no problem. The sounds, as usual. I've been noticing this kind of ting as I open it because of the way it's got less of a pinch spot. My finger sometimes kind of slips off, and it almost makes this like zing noise when I let go. Watch. Oh, see, now I'm like trying to make it exaggerated. You hear that at all? It kind of like, because of the hollow grind of my finger coming off, it just makes this kind of tinging sound. Walk and talk, or sorry, sounds are phenomenal. The walk and talk action, right? I will say it is a little bit, I think it's just the spring is a little stronger. I don't think it's tighter like I was saying in the unboxing. Well, I think initially it was because I loosened the pivot screw. One of the pivot screws, like they were both fairly tight, and I could only get one out. The other one's Loctited to the barrel pretty good, which is fine. I was able to take out one and then tighten it back down with super glue and get it tight, but not as tight as it was. Centering is still dead on. There's no side to side at all. And now I get a little more of a bounce. It kind of hops to half a little better now. Where before I feel like I was kind of just pushing it to half or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but you can see it hops there and then jumps down. So the walk and talk is still on the stiffer side. Like if the, I don't know how to compare it. I think the best one to compare it to is the Venom, because it has a similar pinch point, but also because the spring just has a similar sort of feel to it. Where you'll see when it goes to half, it kind of jumps a little bit and shakes, right? And then Where something like the Venom is more of a vibrator. That's what she said, but sorry. Watch. See how you can kind of hear it like really smack into that half stop? And it almost goes, and then I also think maybe the acoustics are just really good on this one. Also, the Midnight would be probably comparable, just has more pinch point. So, let me try the K9 because it's got similar blade shape. See, the spring's a little lighter on here. Yeah, not much lighter, but lighter spring. Like this is probably a 6, right? 6.5 maybe on the K9. On the low drag, it's probably, 7.5, closing in on 8. I'd say from here to half, it's more like a 7.5 probably. Right there, it's kind of it's closing in on an 8. A 7.75. I'm just kidding. All right, I'm going to shut up. You have to experience it yourself, I guess, but it's just different, and it's not negative. It's fantastic. After I broke it in, after I had it in hand for a little bit and just got used to it, I love it. Absolutely love this knife. Just like all of them. They all have their own unique features and things that just make them what they are, right? That's, other than aesthetic, like they all have their own quirks in a good way. So overall, this is in my top 3 of Jack Wolf knives, and it just keeps, it just keeps going. I don't know what else to say. So here are the top 3. Venom, Midnight, and low drag. And another one I would put up there, man, I'm just gonna end up grabbing all of them, is the Cyborg. Love the Cyborg. So these would be my top 4. You want a top 5? Because I can't help myself. Oh, man, it's almost got to be 6 though. The Vampire would be really close, but I think I'm gonna end up slotting this guy in there because I love the size of this. I just like having a smaller sized slip joint, and I really enjoyed the little bro when I got it. So there's your top 5. I don't know what order, honestly. I think this would probably be 3rd, so out of whatever order. I love this Cyborg, man. I just love them all, man. They're just so goddamn good. I could sit here and keep going and just be like, no, this one's the best. No, this one's my top 5, whatever. The Venom, to me, is clearly the number 1, though. Like, it's weird how it's hard for me to be like, which one's my, 3rd, 4th. This is clearly the number 1 for me. There's just something about this one that just grabs me. And that's how I felt about the Midnight all year long. And I don't know why now it's like, nope, it's the Venom. But this one would be a close second. I think it's really just the end of the handle being a little bit sharp when I go to, it's just a little bit harder to close because it's such a straight line. It's such a just straight down. And sometimes this corner can kind of like push into my skin a little bit. And it's just a little awkward to do the 2-hand close like that. And then I guess it doesn't sit in a slip as well because of the tall blade. I don't know. I got dumb reasons for things. I'm loving the little bro. But you can see here the difference between this and the Midnight. It's all rounded back here. So like when I go to do this, it's just super comfortable. And listen to this spring. I mean, it's a jumper. So this one falls right in there with the best of them. There's a couple things I want to note for people who are kind of, you know, picking their first one or what I don't know what I'm talking about, but pinching it out is different on this than some other ones. It's close to the way the Vampire is, and that's one of the reasons I grabbed it. The way you see how the blade sticks out here, and you just have this nail nick here, but you don't have, like on the Venom, for instance, probably one of the reasons I love it, is there's all that blade. I mean, look at all of this blade that you can just pinch. Right, this could have the strongest spring ever on a slip joint, and I could still just easily rip it out of there. Man, this is so good. Man, I could just sit for hours and handle these slip joints. So nice. But yeah, you just have a lot of pinch point, right? And that's a big selling feature for me. But what is that? What does that remove? Well, you take a look at the Venom next to the low drag or the Vampire. Because they don't have a ton of that blade sticking out, it's a thinner knife this way. It's a shorter knife. Right? Which is nice because then in pocket, you have a thinner this way slip. So it carries a little better in that sense. And drop it in your pocket, it's going to be less noticeable, right? Things like that. So that's a benefit to that. But the downside to it is you don't have a big pinch spot. But the way Ben does these slip joints is he has a full hollow grind. So because he has a full hollow grind on it, it makes it to where it's not sharp, but it's got an edge here, basically. What's a bad word for it? You know what I'm trying to say. A lip. I don't know. Whatever. And so you can easily pinch it because that hollow grind comes up to here. It's the same reason, tangent, it's the same reason that you can reverse flick a Trevor Burger knife. Without any, like, it's so easy. People look at these and they're like, how the hell are you doing that? It's just a little bit of blade. Why is that so easy, right? Because if you look at some other knives, I don't know, I gotta find one that makes sense for this scenario. I don't know if the F5 would make sense. It's got about the same amount of blade sticking out, right? Obviously there's a hole there, but like I can't just easily, I could dig in real hard and maybe get it to flick out if I tried really hard. Yeah. But it's not going to be like repeatable, like with the Urban, where I can just do it so easy. And that's because that knife has a flat grind. This knife has it has a full hollow grind. So from the spine, there's a hollow grind starting immediately, right? And what that does is it means it's thinner here than at the spine, which means your finger kind of digs into it. So when you go to flick it, your finger's actually digging in and then catching sort of the lip at the end. And it's just so easy to fire out. And it doesn't mean this is sharp. It just means you have thickness there that you can catch. And it's the same exact concept that you have on a low drag or a Vampire. And then you add that nail nick. So you can just stick your finger like this, and my finger just kind of slots into that nail nick a little bit. That's all it needs, just a little bit. And then grab and pinch that hollow grind. Boom. And I'm out. Yeah, it's not as easy to fidget with as the Venom, where I can just go zzz, 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 right? Like I need to make sure I get it and pull. And yeah, occasionally I kind of like come out of it a little bit, but it's rare. I mean, I've even, like, after oiling this and everything, I'll sit here and play with it, and it still have no problem. I'd say in terms of pinch point, in case you have a Vampire and you're curious, they are very similar. Where the Vampire has a little more space underneath the nail nick to grab, you can see, the Vampire is at the back here coming up against the the scale a little bit, where the low drag is kind of just a straight line. So you get more of a grip. You get a wider amount of grip, if that makes sense, versus the Vampire, but less of it. So you get a little deeper of a grip here, but you have to really catch the right spot, right? And both, it works great on both of them. Really no problem. Like here, I can throw it down. We'll pick it up. We'll do it hot potato style. Boom, right? Oh, it came off, but boom. Like, it's not hard, you know? And I have sat there all night. Last night, we watched the new Knives Out Glass Onion movie. And I was sitting there just hammering away on my low drag. So, let me put this one away and then wrap this up. So, there you go, guys. There's another 25-minute video about a Jack Wolf knife that I'm excited about. And it is what it is. I hope you guys pick one up if you're interested. They are dropping on the 13th. January the 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Dealer list is down below. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you, I don't know, want to talk about anything else, or you have any cool topics or feedback or anything. Ben is usually watching these videos, so if you have anything you want to ask him or whatever, throw that down in the comments. And be careful if you get one of these, because my buddy Brandon Thrasher over at Thrasher's Garage ended up with a hand or a fingers full of stitches. I don't know what he did, but he got himself real good with this guy. So they are sharp, and they're ready to do work. So let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate you watching these videos and subscribing and hitting the like button and doing all that stuff. The channel's been doing pretty well. I've been really happy with the way the channel and Divo and everything's been going lately. So a lot of that is thanks to you guys. So I appreciate it. Shout out to Ben for sending this my way, and I hope the drop goes extremely well. I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.